Anthony Trujillo. Currently, I am the interim executive director for the UCCS Pre-Collegiate Development Program. So if you're not here for the Pre-Collegiate Development Program, um, then you're probably in the wrong spot, but that's okay. And so what we'll do next is I'll have my colleague introduce herself and tell a little bit about what she does.
Hi, I'm Jessica George, and I am the coordinator for the transition coaching portion of our program. So these are the undergraduate peer coaches who support the high school students involved in the program. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that in a couple slides here. And then I also help with the dual enrollment aspects of the pre-collegiate program.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Share. We're going to have to get this Q&A out of there. Okay. I hope everybody can see my screen. Jess, can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. And so we'll be stepping through a little bit about what the program is. Like I said, we'll have room or time for questions towards the end, and then we'll also stop periodically to see if there are any questions throughout the presentation. Okay. So let's get started. So what is the Pre-Collegiate Development Program? So we have been around since 1987, actually, here on the UCCS campus. There are 4 different CU campuses, so I'm not sure that everybody's aware of that, but there are 4 CU campuses that share the CU name. There's one at Boulder, one at Denver, one at Anschutz, and then of course here in Colorado Springs at UCCS. Okay, so currently we serve approximately 350 students and 30 plus schools throughout Pueblo and the Pikes Peak region as well. So there's some background there. So we've been established for quite some time. So what are we and what do we do? So students can actually take college credit through our program. We do college preparation and professional development workshops. We explore and learn about different types of colleges and different colleges around the Pikes Peak region and what their campuses look like. And then we also focus on career pathway exploration. And we'll get a little bit more into that. So disclaimer for everybody, first off, I should have started with this and I always forget and I apologize. But one thing that we have to keep in mind is we are not a recruitment service for UCCS. So our goal and our mission is not to recruit students to come to UCCS. Our goal and our mission is to help students with the transition from high school to college, and then to persist on and move on and graduate from college, because it's not enough just to get students ready for college. But it's also we also want them to succeed through and graduate from college. Now, if your student is not looking at going to college, because, let's face it, college isn't for everybody, right? If your student is not looking at going to college, we do reinforce some of those life skills through our program to help them persist on with anything that they choose to do after college. So if that's military enlistment, if that's a technical trade or anything like that. So we definitely want to make sure that we're hitting all of those pieces. Okay. Jess, would you like to take over?
Yeah, so we have actually, because of our virtual format this year, we have asked some of our current pre-collegiate students to share some of their perspectives on what they enjoyed about pre-collegiate, what they've learned about the program and through the program. And so we're just going to play a quick clip here from Atharva, who is one of our
First and foremost,
students.
I think that one of the most rewarding and fun parts of the pre-collegiate program is getting to meet a lot of different people, a lot of new students, and getting to take a lot of new classes that you may not think you would ever take. So first off, getting to meet people from across the community, whether that be kids from Pueblo or kids from other high schools in just your own city, is a very engaging experience because each person brings something entirely different. And people from different cities, people from different schools, even within your own city, have different perspectives. And you're kind of getting to ride this whole pre-collegiate experience together with all these different people. And it's a very engaging and diverse experience that I truly appreciated.
Great. And then some of his challenges.
Additionally, one of the other things that I think was a bit challenging was the idea of having to balance pre-collegiate with high school. And I think it brings in that aspect of becoming like an adult, taking on responsibilities of an adult without all the additional added stress. I mean, you had to balance your workload with school. You had to balance scheduling. Outside of school, you had to balance talking to your professors, getting in contact, and you really learned to take responsibility for yourself and for your own actions. And I really appreciated that from the pre-collegiate program. It was definitely very difficult, but at the end of the day, I think it's a very, very rewarding experience.
Great. So that video is from Atharva, again, one of our current students. And right now, I'd like to move into discussing a little bit about how pre-collegiate is structured. So if you join pre-collegiate, you select into one of 5 career pathways. So these are business, education and human services, engineering and technology, health, and humanities and the arts. And these are kind of a framework for student programming, and they're incorporated in a variety of ways in student participation. So when we have in-person summers, and we will talk a little bit more about that, field trips, professional development opportunities are really oriented around these 5 career pathways. Sometimes they intersect. For instance, the business and engineering and technology pathways sometimes share the same field trips. But these are kind of an opportunity for students to learn more about options in their desired career field. They are deliberately broad so that students can experience a range of opportunities and options within their field. One thing to note is that students do not have to know their pathway or their career goal right from the start. We do have programming in the spring of the student's acceptance. So if the student was accepted this semester, they would have an opportunity to explore the career pathways before choosing what they would be doing in their sophomore year. Pathway programming affects our college experience visits. We'll say more about that in a couple slides. Our summer academic institute field trips, as I said a few minutes ago, as well as the college courses that the students would take during their summer academic institute. So these are those dual enrollment courses that the student would be taking in the summer. And the pathway selection day for this cohort of students will be in February. And just kind of an interesting note that we really encourage students to come to Pathway Selection Day with an open mind. A student may think that they absolutely want to be in the business pathway, but then learn a few new things in that Pathway Selection Day. So we're really encouraging students to kind of stay with an open mind, and we're really wanting them to choose a pathway that they're interested in, that their aptitudes and skills are in, not necessarily that a family member wants them to be in. So just some things to keep kind of on the top of mind when considering career pathways. And we do have another example video from one of our students in the engineering pathway. So we'll share a little bit about that before we move on.
That's my favorite part of the program was the engineering pathway because, in my opinion, that's the best pathway you can join. For instance, um, you rising sophomores, you'll get to build a drone at the end of the year. At the end of the month of June, you guys get to build and fly your own drone. Well, I mean, we'll try to fly anyway. It might work, but who knows? Engineering pathway really helped me grow because, well, first of all, it taught me how to design, especially last year, because it taught me how to take small steps in order to make a big product. And I used to Because normally I just jump to like the very last step and I skip everything in between. But uh, it taught me that every little step matters.
Great. So someone asked how long is Pathway Selection Day and what day? This will be informed by the potentially virtual format of Pathway Selection Day. Usually it's half a day on campus, the first Saturday in February. So we're tentatively thinking February 6th, that first Saturday in February. And if this is a virtual format, so we haven't totally decided on this format, this is obviously informed by public health guidance. It may not be half a day if it's in a virtual format. It may be a couple of hours because we know that students get sick of that kind of e-learning format. So we're adjusting based on what format we need to have the day in.
Yeah, and I can't see, unfortunately, I can't see the Q&A panel. So I can't see anything come up. I can see the notifications, but that's about it. So thank you for taking that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so a little bit more about the program, what we do. I guess first off, I wanted to clarify on what dual enrollment was, because we do have a lot of questions. So a lot of you may be familiar with the term concurrent enrollment. And so dual enrollment is very similar to concurrent enrollment. Concurrent enrollment is mainly offered at the community college level, and dual enrollment is offered at the four-year university level. And so basically students can earn dual credit both for college and for high school. So it can go towards their high school graduation as well as count for their college credits moving forward. So that's what dual enrollment is. I know sometimes we get that and we kind of skate over that because that is a common term that we're used to, but a lot of people aren't necessarily familiar with what dual enrollment is. So wanted to talk about that a little bit before moving on. So what else do we do? That's another big question because it's not just about the summer program. It's not just about the dual enrollment piece, but we also have what we call the college experience, or CXP, as we've coined it for short. And so basically, we have a partnership with all colleges and institutions around the Pikes Peak region. So that's, of course, UCCS, that's Pikes Peak Community College, Colorado College, and the Air Force Academy. And through the Al Palmar Foundation, we've actually received a grant so that we can visit and go and participate in these college experiences throughout the academic year, and learn about what each institution, what each campus has to offer students, as well as what it looks like to be at a military college or a private institution, or even a two-year option. And so really trying to understand what the best fit is for students. We do this all 4 years throughout the program. And so that is another thing. So if you do join our program now, you do not have to reapply every single year. So unless you opt out, you are in this program until you graduate high school. And hopefully you'll be participating beyond that, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. But all 4 years, you will be visiting these campuses and having different experiences throughout. So this year it looks a little bit differently because we are in a remote format. Unfortunately, we would love to have everything in person right now, but with the number of students that we have, just to stay safe, we want to make sure that we are able to provide services and access to everybody that we can. Um, so yeah, so that's a little bit about the college experience. So again, as you have questions, we'll be answering questions as we're going through, but we'll move on to the next piece here, talking a little bit, and we were mentioning the Summer Academic Institute. Okay, and so what the Summer Academic Institute is, it is during the summer. We do plan this year, generally it is the month of June. However, we may have to adjust those dates just based on school schedules for students, those types of things. But generally, it is the month of June. For you all coming in, you'll be looking at the last 2 weeks of June. So it's a 2-week program. It does scaffold. So once you get into your junior year, it'll be a 3-week program. Your senior year, it'll be a 4-week program. Okay, so this year it's only a 2-week program for sophomores because you all will be considered rising sophomores in the summertime because you're going into your sophomore year. It is Monday through Friday. It is not on weekends. And this is your opportunity to take those dual enrollment credits, those dual enrollment classes. So for your first year, you'll be taking a 1 credit hour class that's still in the works to be determined right now. But you will also be working on your academic skills and your math prep skills throughout. So we're getting you ready for the SAT right now, because it's never too early to start really working on those hard skills, especially for the SAT, which is the college entrance exam, or for anything that you're preparing for, right? So we do include breakfast and lunch during the summer program. You get to eat at our dining hall, which is one of the best experiences that a lot of students have said about the summer program, because it is all you can eat buffet, which is really nice. And each pathway, so this is the neat part about this, each pathway has a hands-on experience opportunity. So the pictures that you see here are of students actually getting some hands-on experience. We have um, the uh, the mechanics lab there to the left. We have Karen Share that students have been able to go to. And then the picture right there towards the right is actually a simulation lab at Pikes Peak Community College that we were able to offer students. So it is an actual simulated hospital environment where students can go and work on patients and getting that real hands-on experience. And the picture on the right is our engineering pathway, and that was them planning out their project, as the video had mentioned.
And I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about dual enrollment. So during the Summer Academic Institute, students take a college class related to the pathway that they've selected into. So this could be an innovation class for engineering and technology or business students. That's an example of what we've had in the past. It could be a biology class for students in the health sciences. So these dual enrollment courses where you are getting generally 3 to 4 credits per course, those are influenced by the pathway that you've selected into. In total, over the 3 to 3.5 years that you would be in the program, you would be earning between 6 and 10 college credits. So again, that summer class is aligned with your career pathway, and at the end of the program, you would graduate high school as well as pre-collegiate with the 7 to 10 college credits. And Anthony, it may be good to skip the next student perspective.
Okay. So then questions so far?
And anonymous attendee asks, how many seats have you filled up out of the 30 so far? Anthony, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so this is our first recruitment session, so we have not accepted anybody into the program yet. We are going to allow everybody to apply, and then we will be making decisions towards the end of October, and letting students and families know in November. And there's nothing going on for the rest of the semester. We really, as ninth grade students, we really want you to concentrate, and this goes especially for this year, concentrate on your academics and getting settled into high school, which I'm sure has been a unique ride this year. And so we don't want to put any more pressure. So programming will actually start in January with our new student orientation, and then move on. And we got a little bit ahead of ourselves, but it was a good question. So.
I think that's it. We can go ahead and move on.
Okay.
And so I'll say a little bit about the student supports. So one of the unique aspects of the program that really makes us different than other sorts of programs that do dual enrollment. Your student may have opportunities through other programs such as CU Succeed or other partnerships through PPCC to get college credit while in high school in District 11. One of the things that makes this program really unique are our student supports. So during that summer class, normally a college class is, is generally 16 weeks. So this is condensed and is very intense and long during that June summer session. So we acknowledge that we're asking our high school students to do really hard things by taking those 3 to 4 credit classes during the summer. And one of the supports that we provide are our transition coaches. So these are undergraduate students at UCCS who serve as peer mentors to the students, the high school students taking those college credit classes. During the summer, there is time in the day where students will meet with transition coaches and academic coaches who have an academic background in the class that they're taking. So there's time for that sort of mentoring and discussion about different strategies for success, time management, organization, how to stay on track to make sure that that June class is finished successfully. And then there's also another piece of our program that makes us really unique. So throughout the academic year, your student would not be taking a dual enrollment course. However, they would be attending evening transition coaching workshops. And these are related to the specific needs of their grade. So for instance, we just had our first set of virtual transition coaching workshops. And these were on things like time management for the sophomores, finding the right college fit for seniors. Later on in the semester, the senior programming really relates to that college admission process. So undergraduate students who are our transition coaches, as well as professional staff kind of monitoring these conversations and these workshops, provide important information that students should know related to academic success and social emotional success in high school. And Anthony, is there anything that you'd like me to add to that?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. So.
And we will have an example, a recording available. So if you'd like to kind of peruse our resources on our website, you can find more information about what sorts of workshops we provide during the school year. If we were in person, students would be coming to campus generally once a month during the week for these workshops. And on this screen here, you'll kind of see a map of our current fall programming. So in this October, we're thinking about creating your world beyond the classroom. So one of the things that we really discuss a lot in pre-collegiate is the idea of kind of self-motivation, self-initiative, self-advocacy as well. So each of our workshops for the sophomores, juniors, and seniors are really related to how to find that kind of curiosity and creativity within your own interests and your own hobbies, and how to kind of propel yourself using those interests into a career that you might be interested in, your pathway, those sorts of things. And again, this document is available under our resources page, so feel free to check that out if you'd like more detail. So looking ahead to spring 2021, if you were accepted this fall, and we will have decisions out generally at the beginning of December, you would attend a new student orientation in January. This will likely be virtual. You would be attending a pathway selection day where you choose one of those 5 pathways. And then we would be really prepping for the summer. So we're hoping to have an in-person summer session. We would have a summer orientation in April where you really get to know the kind of details of that summer programming. We would have registration in May, and then June would be reserved for that Summer Academic Institute.
Sorry, my screen got stuck there.
Oh, that's okay. So another important component of our program has to do with the participation model. So on your screen here, you'll see the minimum participation requirements for our students who are currently in the program. We are asking students to attend 2 transition workshops and 2 college experience conferences throughout the year. Due to the remote and virtual learning environment, we've really kind of I would say have trimmed down some of the participation requirements because we know that there's a lot going on for students and families this year. This has looked a little bit, has more requirements have been required in previous years just because we want to make sure that students are getting all of that programming. So we in a kind of normal year, we would like students to attend both the college fit and the scholarship workshop in the fall. This fall, however, students have the option of just choosing one workshop to attend, and then they can attend another transition coaching workshop in the spring. And I just mentioned that because if we do end up shifting back to in-person programming, our participation model may look a little bit different next year. But basically we have this tiered model and we're trying to incentivize students' participation. We want to make sure that they're getting all that important information that the conferences and workshops provide them.
Yeah. One other thing to keep in mind as well is this will be adjusted for you all once you're accepted into the program in the spring. So this is what it looks like for the entire year for our students currently in our program, but you'll have kind of a different different looking one come January when we do that new student orientation. Okay, so talking about what are the benefits of pre-collegiate and why join our program. So we talked a little bit about the college credits that you'll be receiving. So between 7 and 10 college credits. Scholarship opportunities. So pre-collegiate does offer exclusive scholarships to pre-collegiate participants. So we actually help students get prepared by scholarship writing essays, scholarship writing opportunities, searches. That's part of what some of that transition coaching nights and workshops that we offer. And then in the summertime, we are really getting students prepared and geared up, especially for those rising seniors, for that transition and looking for the money, because we know that unfortunately college is not getting any less expensive, right? So we really want to make sure that students have kind of a head start on the scholarships piece. We are looking at providing a book scholarship for students in the near future for all pre-collegiate students who come to UCCS, which would be really helpful. So a book scholarship from anywhere from $250 to $500. And then we do have competitive scholarships to some of the CU system schools, as well as some of our partnering schools, which we partner with Colorado State University, and they offer our students a $12,000 participation partnership scholarship. So which is really neat opportunity for our students if you're looking at going to CSU in Fort Collins, not CSU Pueblo, but CSU Fort Collins. We also provide application fee waivers. So as students are getting ready to make that transition, we waive fees for all CU campuses. So I don't know if you all realize this yet or not, but a lot of colleges do charge you to apply to their schools. And so those application fees can range anywhere from $50 to $100 depending on the institution that you want to go to. So applying to a number of schools can get pretty pricey at that $50 or $100 mark, right? So we offer four, well, actually three, because Anschutz is a graduate level school, but we offer 3 colleges for free that you could apply to. We also, Colorado just implemented a couple years ago the free application day. So we do advertise that for students. So in the state of Colorado, for those participating institutions, you can apply to any of those institutions and get that fee waived as well. So so that is a good thing as we're sending out reminders and things for that. And that doesn't apply just for CU schools, it applies for all schools in Colorado. And then really, like I said before, those life skills that we were talking about earlier. So communication, self-advocacy, we touch on a lot of those. Now, pre-collegiate isn't just for students. We also do family programming, and we plan on kicking that up here in the near future as well for parents and students. So parents, it's really important. We know that one measure of success for students is having that family support and having that peace and having that kind of cheerleader in the background saying you can do it, right? So for a lot of families, a lot of parents, um, many don't realize what they need to do, especially in the college application process and the college maze, right? And so our program is here to make sure that we're providing those supports to you all so that you can support your student as well. And, and so who can apply? Okay. So we are looking for right now ninth grade students, currently in high school, of course, um, and with a minimum GPA of 2.5 or above. Okay, we really are looking for those students that are in the academic middle. However, if you have that 4.0 student right now, that's great. That's wonderful. We want you to apply as well. Okay. This is a 3+ year commitment. So like I said before, you don't have to apply every single year once you're accepted. You actually are in the program until you graduate and or you say, I don't want to be in the program anymore, okay? Um, and so who do we give priority admissions to? So um, the students that we're looking for are first generation students. So that means that neither parent has completed a bachelor's degree within the United States. So a 4-year degree in the United States and or are military dependent. So parent was active or reserve duty within the last 10 years, you are eligible. Now, if you do not fall under this criteria, that's okay. Okay, we do, like I said, we do give priority to these students. However, if we have spots available, we want to make sure that we're giving that opportunity to all students. Okay. Do we have any questions, Jess, so far?
Yeah, there was a question about how to know your GPA, and I would say generally this is on your high school transcript, and I would encourage students to talk with their counselors about getting a copy of that transcript, where they should be able to find their GPA, or their counselor will know how to get that for them. And then I also have a question for you, Anthony. What kind of scholarships can you get if you are I think this person means a college freshman coming from the pre-collegiate program?
Yeah, so there's a wide variety of scholarships. So we do have dedicated pre-collegiate scholarships that are available if you're planning on coming to UCCS and or planning on going to any of our CU schools. So that's CU Boulder or CU Denver. We also discuss throughout the program, where else you can find scholarships and what those may look like. So there's a wide variety of scholarships out there for students. I believe the duct tape scholarship is still out there. Have you heard of that one, Jess?
I
Before?
have.
Yep. So basically, you have to make a gown or a tuxedo out of duct tape for your prom and submit a picture to duct tape. And there's a scholarship out there. There's scholarships for being left-handed. There's merit scholarships which are looking at your GPA and your grades. There's other scholarships that are just looking at an essay that you may submit. So we talk about all of those things throughout the program and what those may look like and where you can find those. And I think that's the most important piece as you're going through. So I hope that answers that question. Is there any other questions?
Um, a question about scholarships for freshmen in high school, actually, and I am not
Freshman in high
sure.
school. Okay.
I would suggest speaking with your college counselor. They would probably be the best resource for that. And it may be easier to talk with someone live about those questions. But
Yeah.
I I thank you for sharing that. Anthony, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I would just say, their scholarships are really looking at the majority of the scholarships are looking at juniors and seniors, so really starting that scholarship process then. However, there are scholarships out there that start your ninth grade year. So really just looking at and tracking down some of those places, utilizing My Colorado Journey. It used to be College in Colorado. is now My Colorado Journey. They have a robust scholarship search, as well as college. There's a few other there's a few other websites that's escaping me right now, but it's actually on College Board website, which oversee the SAT. They have a pretty robust scholarship system as well, and so those are the things that we talk about in the program and where you can find those too. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, and Anthony, I have another question. For District 11, this is kind of has some nuance to it. So someone shares, I was told that there are a few openings for sophomores in District 11. Would they still receive the same opportunities? And we did admit a few sophomores last year. And Anthony, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, so we are very limited. So we are partnering directly with District 11. So District 11 is providing this opportunity for your dual enrollment during the summer is one of the big things. So um, the 11 does pay for that and support students with those classes, and so that is a big piece. So we are looking at our sophomore classes if we have some spots available. We do have a wait list, I believe, and so we will be reaching out to those students. However, if you are a 10th grade student right now that is here in the session, and you are interested in applying, I would encourage you to apply to the program. If there are spots available, we can definitely reach out to you and make sure that that is something that you want to do. So, and yes, that you will have the same opportunities. You just come in a little bit behind. So you start your program, your rising junior year basically, and so you would be looking at a 3-week program instead of a 2-week program during the summer.
And we don't have a wait list from last year, Anthony. So that's good
Great.
news for sophomores who are interested in applying.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are asking questions about the application process, our next slide will discuss a little bit about that.
Yeah, so talking about how to apply. So right now, the application process is completely electronic. So you'll see a QR code on your screen right now, which leads you to our website, and you can access, and I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next slide, and I'll go back to kind of explain a little bit more. But that QR code will actually allow you to access our website. You'll see this box here. So you will want to do the high school program application unless you were in part of our middle school program. Then you would want to do the recommitment form. However, I don't think we should have any middle school participants in this session right now. So you would need to do the high school program application. So once you click on that button, it'll take you directly to the application and you can submit it directly to us, which is really nice. One thing that you do have to do for the application, so a couple things. One, you have to submit your most recent grade report or transcript. So for those of you, especially that are freshmen, you probably have not received your transcript yet, and you probably will not receive your transcript before you have to submit this application. So one thing that we ask you that you do is get a current grade report, and so you can either pull that down from your student portal that you have. I'm not sure what D11. Do you know what D11 uses as a
I do not.
okay?
Maybe Schoolology, but I do not.
Schoology, yeah, or one of those. So you can pull it down from there. That's not a problem. We'll look at those and accept those. The only thing, if you do grab it from there, make sure it has the student's name and the year on there as well as their school. Okay, so that's one thing that we've received in the past is some grade reports with just the grades on there. There was no name. We didn't know exactly whose it was, and with the paper applications as it was coming in, sometimes those get separated. So we want to make sure that we have your name on there as you're coming through. So, so that's one piece. The third piece that you have to do is you have to write an essay. And I know students aren't thrilled about writing essays, but we want to make sure that you want to be part of the program. And so there will be an essay prompt within that application. So make sure you're looking out for that. And then finally, the fourth thing is you do have to be recommended for this program. Okay, so we need 2 recommendation forms completed by a teacher or a counselor. And again, there are instructions within the application on how to get that done. But basically, you're going to give them or send them through email the link to these, and they'll be able to make recommendations on your behalf. Okay, so you want to make sure that you want to get that in as soon as you can with those. Okay. Um,
And
the
oh,
Yes, go
Anthony,
ahead.
can I pause you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's a couple questions about the transcript slash GPA.
Uh-huh.
So I'll kind of toss this to you. For ninth grade applicants, can people use their eighth grade GPA or a first quarter GPA for high school? Do we have a preference on that?
We would probably want to do your first quarter GPA for your high school year. So that's that grade report that I was talking about. So yeah, so definitely concentrating on that first quarter. Okay. Any other questions?
Not currently.
Okay. Awesome. So due date. So when are these all due? Okay, so you do have a little bit of time. We are looking. It's September 30th today. Already going to be October. I can't believe it. But Friday, October 30th is when your application is due. So you want to make sure that you get that in by Friday, October 30th. And again, the sooner that you can get them in, the better off you're going to be, especially as you're asking for those recommendation forms. Okay. And for those of you, I know there was a question about will we be sending out this PowerPoint? We will have it up and sending it out to the participants that came in, which is why this next piece is really important. Let us know that you were here, okay? So that we can make sure that we're sending you up-to-date information, anything that comes up, or if you have any questions or anything like that, we can reach out to you. So right now, what we'll ask you to do, we are going to open up to more questions. But what we would like you to do is if you can either scan this QR code with your phone or go to this link here. That would be great. You'll have a form that will pull up, and just quickly fill that out. It shouldn't take you very long to do. Just so that we know that you're here, we're getting the best information to reach out to you. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can fill that in. Okay, so we'll open it up to questions right now. If anybody has any general questions about the program or anything that we may have missed that you're curious about, we want to make sure that we're getting those answered for you tonight.
And feel free to drop those questions into the Q&A, and we can take care of those for you. I've also dropped the link for the attendance into the chat if you want to just click out from your computer.
Okay. Well, since we're not getting any in the Q&A, what we'll do is here's our contact information. So if you do have any questions later on that come up, or you're curious about anything, please feel free to reach out to us. So this is our email, our website, our Facebook page. We are on Instagram and we are on Twitter. So we have all these avenues that you can reach out with us on. And again, as we're getting those applications and we're reviewing them, we'll be sure to let students know either or if they've been accepted into the program or not. And we are really good at making sure that we're sending out that communication, especially before the holiday season in December. We want to make sure that everybody has that information. And then you'll also be receiving the date, the time, the details for that January new student orientation and what that's going to look like. Come spring, we may be back in person, but it all depends on both the UCCS campus and, of course, guidelines set by the state. So we may have a remote format, kind of like this, or we may be back in person and be able to invite a lot more people onto campus. So. And I'll go back to that link just in case anybody needs it. But If there are no questions, Jessica and I will stay on for a little bit longer and make sure that that we can answer any questions that come up. But if there are no questions, or if you're good to go, you're more than welcome to take off. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you all for coming and learning about Pre-Collegiate. And we hope to see you soon.